Yes, sir, man. What's good? It's your boy Curtis Cash here, back with another video, man. This is a very special treat. Um, shit, what the fuck? A very special treat, I guess, for all-time UK drill fans, people who would consider them one of the better or one of the best UK drill groups. To me, this was one of the first groups I was introduced to for the UK drill scene, which was the Harlem Spartans. So shout out to UK Drill Plug for the video. I seen it and it piqued my interest immediately. Again, there was a lot of people who were fans of them and everything like that. I haven't been keeping up over the years, but I know there was a lot of shit back then that was going on. I don't know where everybody is now. I really just need a refresher, which this will give me the refresher, and also what's probably been happening in the most recent years too. So that's why I really piqued my interest, because then I can be like, oh damn, I remember that, and then it'd be like, damn, this is new to me. So again, I've reacted to them. Again, one of my first songs was the Where It Started. I'll show like a little small clip of that right now.
Free T1, free Lowski loose, no ST3 sub, free small code T trap. Can I start with D, man, promise tree, son, jump out, we leave them. All the jumpers need freedom. Canada and where it started, like Canada and where
I ain't gonna lie, whoever this is, I like his part though. I like his part though.
promise tree, son, jump out, we leave them. All the jumpers need freedom. Canada and where it started, like Canada and where my heart is. See opposition.
So as you can see from that last video you just seen, little small clip, that was one of the first UK drill reactions that I listened to when I first started the channel. I even have a playlist for the Harlem Spartans. That's how much I was listening to them. I think I got OFB and Harlem Spartans, Dave, Australian drill. Like I literally have a playlist dedicated to this UK drill group. Again, Where It All Started is at least a top 5 UK drill song for me. I'm not gonna rank an order if it's number 1. Just know it's in my top 5. I don't know who else. If Harlem Spartans Where It All Started is in your top 5, just leave that down below. Just put W's. Matter of fact, yeah, put W's for Where It All Started. That's what that's for. Leave it down in the comments. But pique my interest. We gonna get right into it. It's 13 minutes. The tragic rise and fall of the Harlem Spartans, man. Let's go ahead and get it started. I hope y'all enjoy the vid just as much as I do.
Now, today we are traveling to Kennington, home to around 15,000 people. Kennington is a district located within the London borough of Lambeth, South London. It has long been known as one of the better and safer areas within South London. In recent years, however, the area has actually become...
What I just said. So Biss, okay, now I remember Blanco active, and I definitely remember Miz or Mac. But I think Miz for sure, he was doing a lot with Lowski too.
the front of a viral drill movement that saw young rappers from certain estates within Kennington beginning to rap and release tracks that garnered worldwide attention. If you are a UK drill listener, then I'm sure you know exactly who I am referring to. This being the Harlem Spartans, who, in 2016, up until 2019, had hundreds of thousands of people in and outside the UK singing their viral UK drill songs, disrespecting their rivals, and portraying the harsh realities of growing up and living in some of Kennington's most dangerous areas. The Harlem Spartans garnered so much attention, in fact. They had even caught the attention of the Canadian musician Drake, who was eager to hear more. Nowadays, however, the group has faded out of relevance, this subsequently being due to the key members of the Harlem Spartans finding themselves on the other side of the law.
How old is that? Is that old? I don't think I've heard that. Phineas. I don't think I've heard that song.
As well as some members even going on to lose their life as a result of the ongoing gang feuds in South London, with the rappers associated often being remembered as some of, if not the greatest UK drill rappers to have ever come out of the country. But you may be wondering how it was possible for a group of teens to have...
Whoa, bitch died? What the fuck? Hold up. I did not even see that, bro. Miz, yep. Miz and Mac, Lowski, TG, Blanco active on drills. Biss and then SD. Biss died, bro. That's crazy, bro.
rappers to have ever come out of the country, but you may be wondering how it was possible for a group of teens to have risen to the top of the UK drill scene, only to fall out of relevance in a matter of years. Before I start this video, however, YouTube says only 5% of you are subscribed, so if you enjoy this content, feel free to subscribe.
Oh
as it
God,
helps out the
man.
channel.
Make sure
But
y'all
without
subscribe to
further
UK
ado,
Drill
sit
Plug.
back and enjoy this video. Now, Harlem is a large street gang based around Kennington, SE17 and SE11, more specifically the areas Kennington Park, Penwith Manor, and Kennings Estates. The gang is also known as Harlem O, as well as Harlem Spartans, which they have since popularized. It's believed that the name Harlem refers to money, whilst Spartans refers to violence, these two meanings being the subject of multiple Harlem songs, example being Money and Violence by Biss and Zico. Within this, they rapped, Harlem for money, Spartans we step out and do up your bad man brother. Anyways, the Harlem gang has a rivalry with Zone 2 from Peckham, 150 from Brixton, and most prominently,
Damn,
14
Zone 2
also
too.
from Brixton, whilst they are affiliated with Moscow 17, Sirac, and most heavily with nearby Cuckoo from Black Prince, with some Harlem members dual repping Cuckoo. Around 2014, the Harlem Spartans gang would emerge predominantly from the area of Kennington. The gang was quick to start releasing UK drill songs on platforms like Pac-Man TV as well as Press Play Media. In October 2015, two rappers hailing from the Harlem Spartans collective, being YS and Blanco, would release a track titled 3000 Savage. The duo then followed this up in January 2016 with the release titled Shit Den, which has since garnered around 350,000 views. This rapping duo weren't the only rappers for Harlem Spartans, and only a few months following the release of Shit Den, Lowski dropped his breakout track titled Hazards in June 2016, this since garnering over 10 million views.
So I need to look more into it. I'm pretty sure Lowski, does he still make music? Because I know he was really like the only one who kind of like was who made it to the mainstream mark, where he was still kind of like in the UK scene, not even just UK drill. He was like still, you know, up there with it. So I'm gonna still look into that. And if it is, again, y'all can also let me know yourselves.
Lowski then released a track titled DJ Khaled in August 2016. This track, featuring another Harlem rapper known as Mizormac, DJ Khaled also garnered around 10 million views. Unfortunately, however, following this release, Lowski would find himself on the other side of the law.
I remember that.
As a result of firearm offenses, this seeing him being taken off the roads, eventually being fresh home in 2017, where he continued his music career. In September 2016, Harlem rappers Miz or Mac and TG Million released a track titled Harlem Style, currently sitting on just under 2 million views. Following this, at the end of 2016, Harlem rappers Biss, Zico, and Mizormac dropped a song titled Harlem's Realist. This track currently sitting on around 2.3 million views. The views gained in 2016 by Harlem Spartans was insane. However, when 2017 would begin, the Harlem Collective released one of their biggest songs to date, this being Kennington Where It Started, which was released on the 15th of January 2017.
That shit go crazy.
Kennington Where It Started featured a verse from Biss, Blanco, Active or 80, and finally Miz or Mac. Within this song, Blanco went on to call for the freeing of his friends, as well as fellow Harlem Spartans members.
Best verse to me.
Free D1, Real Crooks Man. That was really Phineas Trap. Free TY. Free Low Ski Loose Snow. ST. Free Sav. Free G Smarko. T-Trap. This song instantly blew up within the UK drill scene, currently sitting on just over 25 million views, with the Canadian superstar Drake even going on to post the lyrics of Biss's verse on his Snapchat. This being when Biss rapped, "Question, if gang pull up, are you gonna back your brethren?" Unfortunately, however, Miz or Mac and Blanco would be seeing the success gained by the track Behind Cell Doors, as only 1 month later, in February 2017, both rappers went on to be arrested in a pretty serious case.
Damn.
On the 15th of February,
Yeah, I remember that too.
2017, just a month
I remember it when Miz, I remember that because I reacted to a video when he got out of jail. So I did remember that.
after releasing the Kennington Where It Started song, both Miz or Mac as well as Blanco would be traveling around looking for rivals in a car. The car was stopped by armed police, and Blanco was found with a loaded gun, as well as a samurai sword that he had attempted to conceal. In addition, Miz or Mac was found.
How the hell do you conceal a samurai sword, folks? How do you do that? It's probably longer than this. How the fuck do you conceal a samurai sword?
Wearing ballistic body armor and a balaclava. A year later, in February 2018, Miz or Mac was sentenced to 6 years, whilst Blanco was sentenced to 3.5 years.
Wait, that was What'd he say?
Ms. Mac was sent body armor and a balaclava. A year later, in February 2018, Ms. Mac was sentenced to 6 years, whilst Blanco was sentenced to 3.5 years. It's rumored that the pair attempted to ride out onto rival M Block members from Stockwell, after Stockwell members had allegedly attacked Ms. Mac. Shortly after this, TG Million, who was also a Harlem Spartans rapper, would find himself on the other side of the law. In 2017, TG Million would be in a car when he noticed a rival from the 410 gang, who were also making noise in the UK drill scene, with rappers like AM and Skengdo. Anyways, TG Million began to chase the rival in the car, eventually colliding with the 410 member, before TG then jumped out, stabbing the rival multiple times. Fleeing seconds later, the 410 member was rushed to hospital and nearly died. However, he luckily survived. TG Million was then arrested and charged, eventually being given 12 years for the incident. In June 2017, Lowski was released from prison, getting straight back into the UK drill scene, dropping the track titled Teddy Bruckshot in July 2017, following this up with his hit track Money and Beef in October 2017, this title possibly being a reference to the name Harlem Spartans. Anyways, Money and Beef gained a massive amount of attention, especially from Drake, who actually sung the song at Lowski's 2019 show in London. Lowski was also co-signed by both Stormzy and Drake, which is insane for a UK drill rapper. 2017 also saw the rise of Harlem's main rivals 410, who were also doing numbers in the UK drill scene, with AM and Skengdo releasing tracks like Macaroni, Crash and Their Mad About Bars, all gaining millions of views, often sending and replying.
Somebody just sent me this, and I felt like I had already reacted to it, but they sent me what is it? Shout out to Nate. Shout out to Nate. He definitely sent me some videos. I will be on top of that if you're watching the vid. Anything y'all send me, just give me a little time, you know, because I do be dropping and y'all be sending me a lot, and I'm trying to be on top of all of it. That's all it is. So I'm not forgetting about your vid. I'm just trying to get to everybody's request and also stuff that I think y'all might like to see. Like, nobody requested this, but I think, you know, the channel that I run, that my people would like to see this, man. So I hope y'all really enjoy this vid though. But I think I will be reacting to that Mad About Bars, but I feel like I already did. So I'll definitely do some research and see what's to it.
Applying to disses from the Harlem Spartans, Lowski released the track Intro in January 2018, following this up with his album Call Me Loose in April 2018, which was well received by UK drill fans. Another rapper from the Harlem Spartans gang was also beginning to make noise, this being S.A. or Lats, who had previewed a track titled Most Wanted Tugs in July 2018, as well as even having a song with Ms. Mac, who was in jail at the time. Sadly, however, what fans weren't expecting was that in the months following the release of Lowski's album Call Me Loose in 2018, the start of the Harlem Spartans' downfall had begun. This downfall beginning following the death of one of Harlem's most loved members, this being S.A. or Lats. On the 25th of July,
I remember
2018, Lats from Harlem Spartans and a member of Moscow 17 known as Mimes would ride out onto rival 150 territory. The members would be armed with a gun. Upon reaching the territory belonging to 150, Lats would spot a rival member known as J. He would attempt to shoot him. However, the gun jammed. J would then run toward Lats and stab him multiple times. Mimes would then drive off with Lats on the back of the moped. Mimes would be trying to take Lats to a nearby hospital. However, Lats would be in and out of consciousness and eventually would pass out on the back of the bike.
Damn.
This is when Mimes would supposedly push Lats off the back of the moped and would shout to nearby civilians, telling them to get him to hospital. Sadly, however, Lats was pronounced dead moments later. With a murder investigation being launched days later, it was thought that would be arrested for the murder, but would have the charges dropped on the basis of self-defense. Rest in peace, Lats. The loss of Lats was what many believed to be the beginning of Harlem's downfall. As he was loved by all members, the murder of Lats also caused some in-house rivalry between both Moscow 17 and Harlem Spartans. However, since, it's believed both sides have become affiliated once again, with Incognito even posting after his passing, taking to Snapchat writing that he was invited on the ride out and should have went with. Sadly, however, just a week later, Incognito himself would also be killed, just adding to the pain felt by both Moscow 17 members as well as Harlem members.
I remember
Following the
Moscow
death of
17
Lats,
too.
his track Most Wanted Tugs was released, with everyone paying tribute to him, as he really had potential to be one of Harlem's biggest rappers. At some point in 2018, Blanco from the Harlem Spartans was released from prison, going on to release a track titled Return of the Born. Around this time, on Drills from Harlem, Spartans began to release music, dropping his breakout track Certified, which featured Harlem rappers LM and Splash. This song actually garnered quite a bit of attention, currently sitting on around 6 million views. This factor only pushed On Drills, who only days later released Youngest and Baddest, featuring LM, both songs gaining millions of views. However, it is believed that On Drills would be in jail from 2019 onward, taking another one of Harlem's biggest rappers off the streets. Now, 2019...
Them niggas just was not getting a break. Like, that's crazy, bro. Literally not getting a break.
would roll around and would prove to be one of the least consistent years for the Harlem Spartans, with Low Ski continuing to release every now and then. However, in April 2019, he would find himself on the other side of the law, fighting a pretty serious firearm charge. On the 9th of April 2019, Low Ski would be traveling to Willesden in an Uber, booked under a false name. It's believed he was traveling to Willesden to be questioned over the death of his close friend S.A. or Lats. Whilst in the Uber, the police would stop the car and search Low Ski, who was originally found with nothing, before police found a revolver in a sock by the front passenger seat. Low Ski was arrested on the scene and was charged with possession of a firearm, intent to endanger life, and possession of ammunition. Now, his first trial resulted in a retrial, as his prosecutor had fallen ill, whilst the second trial resulted in a hung jury. His third trial, however, resulted in him being sentenced to 7 years on the 5th of January 2023. And I'm sure you probably know, Low Ski was released from prison on the 30th of September 2024, where he is...
Whoa. See, that's new to me. I didn't even know he went to jail. Damn.
Since returned to the UK drill scene. Now, whilst fighting this charge, the remaining Harlem Spartans members continued to make music, these including Blanco, On Drills, SD, and most prominently Biss, who released a track titled 3 My Drilla in September 2019. Within this song, he called for the freeing of his friend Scratcha, who was sentenced to 10 years after being caught with a shotgun in November 2018, this once again being a loss for the Harlem Spartans, as Scratcha was also a rapper. Sadly, however, the biggest loss for the Harlem Spartans was only around the corner, as in December 2019, they would lose their biggest and most prominent rapper at the time as a result of the endless violence in London streets. On the 6th of December 2019, 20-year-old Crosslawn Davis, or Biss, would be filming the music video to his upcoming track titled Beretta outside of London. When traveling back to London, Biss was phoned by members of another South London gang known as CP, or Catch Pagans, as well as Crofton Park. Whilst on the phone, the CP members began to disrespect Lats, who had died around a year earlier. Biss was unhappy about this and traveled to Deptford, where he and the CP members began to fight. Sadly, during this fight, Biss sustained at least 9 wounds to the head, back and chest, sadly dying on the scene. 2 defendants were arrested days later and have since been found guilty of his murder.
Damn.
Rest in peace, Biss. The death of Biss meant that most of Harlem Spartans were off the road and weren't making music, as Biss was really the last rapper putting on for the Harlem Spartans collective. As around this time, many of the members were either jailed for drug offenses or violence, an example being Wiz from Harlem, who in 2020 was arrested and sentenced to 4 years after allegedly being the driver in a case of attempted murder targeting a rival 150 member. In June 2020, Miz or Mac was released from prison following his 2017 arrest with Blanco. Upon being released, he
Return of the Mac, right?
dropped his track titled Return of the Mac, where he showed love to his fallen friends.
Exactly.
Life's really been
I remember
about
that.
fleas and RIPs. It's turning me mad. When I think about Biss, I scream. I try go sleep. Then I see Lats. This release was massive for Miz or Mac, currently sitting on just under 8 million views. However, Miz or Mac wouldn't stay out of the eyes of the law for long. And in November 2020, he was arrested and charged for aiming a gun at a police officer, getting sentenced to 9 years. As of most recently, in December 2021, a Harlem member known as Wars would be killed in a car accident. He is often mourned and remembered by members of the Harlem Spartans and is thought to have been one of Low Ski's closest friends.
Nigga got 9 years, folks? That's crazy. God.
Rest in peace, Wars. Now, Low Ski was actually released from prison in September 2024, where he has since gone on to release a video titled 48 Hours with Low Ski. Following his release, as well as a track titled Ashes, I do hope that Low Ski stays out of trouble and can help his friends gain the recognition they deserve in the UK drill scene. As if the tragic story of Harlem Spartans has taught you anything.
We will definitely be back on the Low Ski. Whatever the new Low Ski is, I don't know if y'all still listen, but at least to pay homage. To me, I'm paying the homage because this is one of the first groups I was really put on to that really got me interested in the UK drill scene, you know? So for me, it's just, I wouldn't know anything realistically or be in the scene of the UK drill scene to start off with if it wasn't for the Harlem Spartans and Zone 2, I would say that. Even though they both beef, those are the 2 groups that really kind of put me on to the UK drill scene. So I definitely still be listening to some Low Ski. Just be on the lookout, man.
It should be that this road life isn't worth it. Even if you think it is not, as it only ever leads to jail and death. The only person involved in this story who has seemed to make the best of the road life is Blanco, who has since distanced himself from the gang life and is gaining millions of views on every track he has released. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe.
Blanco was the one who dropped the what I said was my favorite verse, the clip that I just showed y'all. So Blanco and Lowski, we will be back listening to those vids, man. I know this was a long video, but I really hope y'all enjoy. Y'all stayed to the end. Hopefully, again, man, we are back in business. I'm back and I'm better than ever, and I hope y'all feel back with me. Feel the energy. I'm here. I'm gonna see y'all with the next one. Your boy out, man. Nobody helped me, just been grinding on my life. Smoking on the gas got me higher than the kite. Drove with the shit, how a nigga take flight. Nigga, you a bitch, might as well be a dyke. They know a nigga go this hard on the mic. Nigga get money, now she wanna spend a night. Niggas wanna shoot, but nobody wanna fight. And fuck all that love shit, I grip my heart tight.